Joseph Stella loved the Botanic Garden. When he was in America, the darkness, the coldness, he hated all of that. And the Botanic Garden gave him a refuge. He went there all the time. His studio was filled with flowers. Flowers and nature were the way that he could connect with Italy while he was in America. My name is Barbara Haskell, and I'm a curator at the Whitney Museum of American Art. Joseph Stella was born in Naples, Italy. He came to America when he was 19. He became an American citizen in 1923, but he never lost his love and his nostalgia for the land of his youth. And that conflict between being a stranger in both places, he was only able really to reconcile in his art. Brooklyn Bridge is one of 23 works by Stella that we have in the collection, but he was also in many exhibitions. And I did the 1994 retrospective, which really brought him back into the art world. So Stella worked in a variety of styles, and the most obvious dichotomy are his images of industry and urban America, and his paintings of nature. Both, he did silver points of plants and Neapolitan Song that was in a 1932 Biennial. Is very indicative of the kind of pieces that he did when he was back in Italy. And in a way, they're totally different subjects, but they're also very much the same. That he had this idea of the spirituality that art can bring, that art is about infusing everyday life with a spiritual kind of elevation and transcendence. And in the Neapolitan Song, there's a sense of the joy and peacefulness of religion that we get. And so they're different, but they also come from the same sort of impulse to make magic in what he called an unmysterious world. His signature style is the Brooklyn Bridge. It symbolized the sort of ambition and success, achievement of American industry in the New World. He said it was the shrine to a new civilization. But he also saw it in religious terms, though, that kind of reflects his Italian background. He spoke about walking at night on the bridge and feeling on the threshold of a new religion in the presence of a new God. And the Brooklyn Bridge really combines his sense of the grandeur and the power of industry, but also the darker side. He had been commissioned to go to Pittsburgh to the steel and coal plants, and he saw firsthand the effect of industry. And in the bridge picture that we have, that you can see right now, you really see both of those things working. He exaggerates the cables going up and the stained glass and the kind of glory, and yet underneath there's a sense of the darker side of American industry, the effect on human beings. Neapolitan Song represents a work that he did when he went back to Italy. He went back for 8 years in 1926, and he went to Naples, where he was born, and he depicted Capri as this paradise of lost innocence and kind of joy, abundance, and peace. It was as if he saw Italy through the eyes of an American. So he idealized it into this paradise that didn't exist at the time. You see the fronds of the palm plant that kind of suggests the radiance of nature, and the heron, which is almost a stand-in for a sort of divinity. So it becomes this surrogate for a peace and joy that he sees in Italy as a stranger, that his memory of his childhood becomes this idealized world that he paints. So the bridge becomes something he works with all of his life. This is a later version, but he does many iterations. It really becomes, for him, an icon of America. But at the same time, he has this nostalgia for his homeland, the warmth of the sun, the abundance of nature. And he finds refuge at the Botanical Garden, in the flowers and in the foliage, the sense that here was a replication, something that reminded him of his youth. And he created out of those images sort of this paradise of lost innocence. He said the goal of the artist was to make permanent those moments of blissful innocence when we see things out of the ordinary, when they're elevated and spiritualized for the first time. And the flower pictures that he makes after doing the Brooklyn Bridge really embody that sense that there's a divinity and a spirituality in nature that's the province of the artist.